Hello, YouTube fans and fellow aviation enthusiasts. Siegwart Aviator here. I'm just headed back from work and thought this would be a great time to answer a few questions. And one question that I seem to be getting a lot more questions about is there really an airline pilot shortage in the United States? The short answer to that question is yes. There definitely is an airline pilot shortage in the United States, especially among the regional carriers. Now, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, even Southwest, not feeling the pain of this pilot shortage quite yet. Why? Because they have literally thousands of regional pilots who have longed to join their ranks that they can pull from. But that's going to eventually slow unless we get more pilots in that can fill those slots. So, if you have ever dreamed about or longed or ever thought you might have a passion or a desire to become an airline pilot, definitely now is the time to get in on this. So, some people ask, well, how did we get in this shortage? All right, well, that can't be answered in one simple question. The USA Today posted an article, and I'll probably try to link it in the bottom or in the comments here. I think they said somewhere around 617 or 620,000 pilots are going to be needed over the next short period of time. I think 10 to 20 years. It's been a while since I read that article, but anyway, the fact of the matter is there's literally going to be thousands, if not tens of thousands of pilots needed to fill these slots, not to mention mechanics and flight attendants and flight operations specialists and so on that'll need to cover these flights as well. So how did we get to this point in the first place? Well, in short, comes down to pay. For too many years, regional pilots especially have not been receiving the pay they need. So even if somebody had a desire to become a pilot or maybe thought, hey, that'd be a great career, once you do the math on how much it costs to become a pilot, go through the training that is required, so on and so forth, and then you do the math on what your first year of pay is, what your second year of pay is, the amount of money it takes to recruit that, it just didn't make sense unless you really were an av geek, okay? Or you just had a real passion for flying, any of those. But logically, it didn't make a lot of sense, okay? So, in short, a lot of people just didn't take it, even if they might have thought they had a desire for it. They just chose to keep aviation as their hobby versus their career. Now things are changing. They're not what they should be, they're not what they ought to be, but they are definitely trending in the right direction. Used to be, I've talked to my buddies, they would pay out $75, $100, $125,000 to, get all their flight training, get their flight degree, so on and so forth, and their first year pay was $17,000, $18,000, $19,000 a year. That's insane. Okay, now you can easily make double, triple that starting out your first year. Still, the cost of becoming a pilot is pretty expensive, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in another movie or another video series, how to become an airline pilot, and I'll be posting that pretty soon. But this video is there an airline pilot shortage? Yes, there definitely is. Compounding the fact that the pay wasn't what it should be, back in 2009, there's Colgan Air Flight 3407. It was operated under Continental Airlines at the time as a regional carrier, and it crashed there. Now, a lot of the general public became very outraged. They investigated, and they believed that the crew wasn't as experienced as what they could have been or should have been, that there had been a few failures in the pass of this captain who was flying, but that the first officer specifically also didn't have a lot of flight time. Now, you can debate back and forth on if time is the only thing that, makes a pilot good or bad or better or not, but the short of it is that soon after that crash, they decided to go ahead and increase the minimum hours to become a first officer at an airline, a 121, Part 121 operated airline in the United States, to 1,500 hours. Now, there are some exceptions to that rule. If you've got military flight experience, if you have an actual airline or an aeronautics degree, a 4-year degree, then you can get some of that reduced down by a few hundred hours. But for the average person, the range is right in there of 1,500 hours. Well, this is an astronomical feat because it takes, tens of thousands of dollars to accumulate that kind of hours. So once you get your licenses, you need to build that time either by being a flight instructor, by being, carrying cargo, whatever way you can to get those hours. So that put a huge burden as far as cost. So first we talked about pay. Now the cost even increased more than what it was before to get the licenses, because after you got your licenses, after you got your degree, you still had to accumulate hundreds and hundreds more hours than what had previously been required. Okay, you could, with a few hundred hours, you could get your first job at an airline. Now you have to have a minimum of 1,500 hours with those few exceptions. Also accumulating with the fact that in, I believe it was 2009 as well, they made a final ruling. Congress was pushing through the Fair Treatment of Experienced Pilot Act, and I don't know all the stipulations that went with that, but at the end of the day, they increased the age that present airline captains, guys that are serving in the airlines in a 121 operation, they used to have to retire. Mandatory retirement was at 60 years old. So this Fair Treatment of Experienced Pilots Act, I think it was introduced in 2007. I don't know if it fully went into place until 2009. But anyway, this act then allowed airline pilots to not have to retire at 60, but they could also go all the way up to 65 years of service. So along with the 9/11 attacks that happened in 2001, by 2000, that hurt the airlines and they weren't hiring as much. They even furloughed people. And then soon after that, you had the crash of the market where the economy was just obliterated in 2008 era. And then, so that slowed down the hiring that was taking place and made it less attractive for new pilots to go into it. And then after that, now these guys that should have retired and opened up slots for people in the regional airlines to then take those guys' jobs, they were there for another 5 years. So basically for 5 to 8 years in there, the airlines just stagnated. There was hardly any hiring, even at the regional level. Okay, now fast forward 2018. Okay, the economy's booming, the airline industry is growing exponentially, and now things are a whole different market. So they need pilots. So when they started sucking pilots, they realized very quickly that there wasn't enough talent, there wasn't enough pilots, and you couldn't manufacture pilots as quickly as what they used to be able to. When they started having a demand for pilots, a guy could say, hey, or a girl could say, I want to become a pilot. Within a year or two, boom, they're on the line. Get their training, knock it out, and they would be on the line flying. Now it's not so easy, because not only do you have to get your license, your certification, possibly even your degree, but you also have to get that time, and there's no easy way to get that time. Easier now than what it was before, but still, there's no easy way to build hundreds of hours of flight time. So they're realizing there's a shortage, so they've increased pay greatly to meet this demand, to help pay for the costs of the new guys coming in. So honestly, now, better than any other time in history, is a great time to join the airlines. I was just looking up at our company. We're offering for people who have had some experience or have a type rating in a CRJ, we're giving a $7,500 bonus. We are also giving $20,000 in tuition reimbursement for fixed wing transition training. So military people or people that are, have their rotorcraft license, if they want to get their pilot's license, they will reimburse them up to $20,000 of that. So that's just at our company. We don't have huge bonuses for people that don't have previous experience in some sort of way. I think that if I'll give a shameless plug, if you were to email me or message me or wanted more information about SkyWest and I ended up recommending you, I think they give us a $1,250 bonus for recommending somebody. So hey, you guys want to come to SkyWest? Shoot me a message. Shameless plug there. But honestly, you got to look at which airline is best for you, your family, your area, where you're at, what fits best with your culture, and so on. SkyWest has been a great company for me. I love it. I enjoy it. But it's not for everybody. GoJet, Republic, SkyWest, Envoy. I know Endeavor has stuff. There's Mesa. I saw an advertisement. I didn't get it pulled up here, but I saw an advertisement for them. I think it was well over $10,000, if not $20,000, that they were offering as a signing bonus there. So these are all options that are available to you, and this shows that if they're willing to give out that kind of a signing bonus, and that they're asking and actually sending out flyers to people's houses, wanting people to apply, that shows that there's definitely a pilot shortage in the United States. So anyway, shoot me a message if this has been a help. Also, hey, I've got thousands of you followers on YouTube, but I've only got just over 1,000 of you guys over on Instagram. So I Instagram over there a lot. It's much more interactive. I try to shoot some good stuff, video and pictures over there. So if you like my YouTube channel, go over to Instagram, like it. I also have a Facebook page. I'm not as active on that, but if you are all interested in my YouTube channel, like it at all, for whatever reason, go over to Instagram, give me a like. I'll try to like you back, especially if you got some cool aviation pictures there, as I'm an aviation nerd that way. But anyway, it was good talking to you. Hopefully this video is a help. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe. Come on over to Instagram. I'm home now. Yeah!